What's up, everybody? This is Dosdos, and I'm about to start this video interview for Hustler's Handbook. They sent me some questions, so I've written down some answers, and I'm going to fire away and go through it. But just for some context, I suppose I'm a producer slash MC or hip-hop artist, whatever you want to call it, based in Brisbane, Australia. And I recently released my single, No Time, on the 1st of June. So it's been a little over 2 weeks now since that's been out. So please, if you want to go and stream that, then you can search Dosdos, like DOSDOS, on any streaming platform. And I'd appreciate it if you let me know what you think of the track. Anyway, let's jump into this. So, first question is, why the name Dosdos? Well, my legal name is Hayden, which for whatever reason became Haydos to my friends. Then to shorten it, it just became Dos, and then Dos became Dosdos. And my artist name used to be Young Dos, but I feel like I kind of outgrew that. So switched it up and landed on Dosdos. So I guess it was just natural. Next question. Where did you grow up? I grew up in Christchurch, New Zealand. Which was a cool city for a while. I did all my schooling and stuff there, and then I moved to Brisbane, Australia when I was 20, and I've now been living here for 8 years or so. I don't know, excuse my phone. I don't know how long I'll be here, but it's home for now. Next question is, how long have you been producing / rapping? I've been making music in one capacity or another for probably over 10 years, but I've only been taking it seriously for about 4 years. Until that, I was just probably, fucking around, pretending I made music when really it wasn't that good. Next question is, tell us about Deep Level. So Deep Level is a production company, I guess you could call it, that I founded in Brisbane, which offers, studio services and music production to hip hop artists and artists from other genres. And I facilitate hip hop shows and other genres as well in Brisbane. So whether that's promotion or bookings or whatever people want to pay me to do, I guess. So yeah, it's been good. Been going on doing this for like 3 years now, maybe. And it's allowed me to sort of probably come into contact with most of the hip hop artists in Brisbane, I think. So yeah, it's been fun. Next question is, describe your sound / style. So I don't even really know how to answer this, and I hesitate to describe my sound because I guess people should just hear it and think what they want or hear what they want to hear. But some people have compared me to Mike Skinner from the Streets, which I guess is, kind of cool because I make introspective shit like they do. And like Tom Scott is another rapper who people have said that I remind them of, which is somewhat accurate, I think, I hope. Next question is, what are the best bars / best verse you have written or heard? So I decided not to choose my own shit because people can just listen and think what they want of it. But I chose to recite a verse by Avondale Bowling Club, written by the MC Tom Scott. And it's from a song called Friends or Fiends. It's Friends, but the R is in parentheses. So it's like Friends / Fiends, depending on if you include the R. And yeah, it's about Tom's relationship with a friend of his who struggled with drug addiction, as far as I can tell. So it goes like this. Remember when we used to do drugs? Now it's kind of like they do us. Did it until we did too much. Everything after that ain't really do much. Started out on them blue doves, then moved up to that yellow school bus. Now it's like I need 2 does just for a buzz. I need to get a new buzz. It's been too long. My girl's 2 months due. Guess it's time that I grew up. Time to retire. I'm tying my boots up. All that youth that I had, I used up. I'm too old for these new drugs, too clued up to be queued up for this club. This scrub just spewed up on my brand new blue Pumas. Somebody call me an Uber before I turn into tour. Who got the Eulers? Look, ain't nothing wrong with no Luda, but I'd rather be at home banging that Luther. My brain's already screwed up from all the Sid I chewed up. I'm about to grow me a tumor. All my friends all stuck in the past, still dancing the future. I was conceived by 2 users. I was supposed to be a loser. I had to see my old man cooped up in an orange jumpsuit trying to shoot up. I seen the sky, I seen the sewer. I seen a sign I should have seen sooner. I seen my best friend pack that flued up. 1 year later, he tied that noose up. This one here. So yeah, pretty fucking dark verse, but very well written and poignant, in my opinion. So yeah, might be the best verse I've ever heard. I mean, I also might be overlooking something, but I had to pick something. So there you go. What would be your dream collaboration with any artist of any genre? So, I mean, I probably can't make music outside of like hip hop or like some electronic shit. So I just chose a rapper. But yeah, my dream collaboration would be with David Dallas, who's another rapper from New Zealand who has been like an idol of mine since I was a teenager. Because growing up in New Zealand, there were almost no rappers to look up to. And David Dallas was the first guy to like blow up and earn a reputation overseas out of NZ. So since then, he's kept churning out great music, and yeah, I'm just a huge fan of him and his ethos and what he's about and the sound of his music. So, next question. Who are your top 5 artists or producers or albums? So, I went with top 5 albums in no particular order. If You're Reading This, It's Too Late by Drake. A Grand Don't Come for Free by The Streets, Bad Vibes by Shlomo, The Sun's Tirade by Isaiah Rashad, Demon Days by Gorillaz. So I guess I'll like dive into each one a little bit and just like explain why I chose it. So If You're Reading This, It's Too Late by Drake, in my opinion, is probably his most experimental and most sort of immersive work. I really enjoy albums that sound like they have their own soundscape. And I think If You're Reading This, It's Too Late is a really harsh and cold sounding album. And I think it was the first time that Drake might have felt comfortable really pushing the envelope. And I think it really shows. There's a really good mixture of fucking hard bangers, pretty emotive shit. I mean, as you'd expect from any Drake album, but yeah. Also, the way it dropped was just dope. You know, it came out of nowhere like a mixtape. And I think maybe it was like the start of that sort of music trend where rappers started doing that. My dog is here as well. I'm not sure if he's on camera, but he's come to say hello. Now, A Grand Don't Come for Free by The Streets is an album that has like a concise narrative from beginning to end. And the final track on the album has 2 alternative endings. Throughout this narrative, Mike Skinner narrates these hardships and challenges that he's going through, and characters are introduced and leave the story and whatnot. And these 2 alternative endings essentially convey the idea that, you know, you can fall victim to your circumstances and that'll be a bad ending, or you can choose to try and capitalize on whatever circumstances those are. And, you know, not everything is sort of all doom and gloom if you view it that way. Mike Skinner's rapping on this album as well, I think, is very, very honest and almost just, you know, really simple. But I love it. It probably proved to me that you can just be like a normal dude and rap about normal shit. And as long as your heart's in it, then I think you can make sick music. So my next album is Bad Vibes by Shlomo. Shlomo is like a alternative sort of electronic instrumental artist, I guess you could say, who has worked with vocalists in the past though. So Bad Vibes was the first album by him that I ever heard. And similar to If You're Reading This, It's Too Late, it really creates a soundscape of its own. It sounded like nothing I'd ever heard before. It sounds beautiful and dark at the same time, lush and foreboding. And I think it has influenced my production in terms of the sounds and the textures that I try and work with and the melodies that I try and write. Even if I'm trying to write a beat that I guess is intended to be like a bit of a banger or whatever you want to call it, I always do try and include a pretty like emotive melodic element. And I think I have Bad Vibes to thank for that. The next album is The Sun's Tirade by Isaiah Rashad, which I think is an album which like perfectly encapsulates the feeling of like bittersweetness. Like Isaiah Rashad is an artist who, you know, wears his sorrows and his problems on his sleeve. But those same, I guess, problems or issues allow him to make some of the most beautiful music. There's a lot of very like, I guess, deep lyricism on here. The production is beautiful and lush. And yeah, I would recommend that anybody check it out. And my last album is Demon Days by Gorillaz, which, man, is a genre-spanning masterpiece, which addresses pretty like ahead of their time and dystopian themes, stuff like environmental destruction, and I guess like a feeling of being completely like alone in a vast world, which is something I relate to all too well, for better or worse. So there you go. That's my 5 albums. Do you have anyone you want to recognize or shout out? Yes, I want to shout out my wife, Francisca, because she lets me vent about music and creative frustrations and everything. And she's super supportive and she's the best. Also, Harvey, Joey Legit, and Young Grave are a few other artists who I really enjoy collaborating with. So shout out those guys. Do I have a message to the youth? I didn't until now. I thought about it, and I do. Do your thing and be fearless. Don't give a fuck about what people say, as long as you're doing your best to do what you're passionate about. Don't waste your time with people who only bring negative energy into your life. Always try and be around people who inspire you or are smarter than you. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Know yourself, know what you want, and figure out a plan for how to get it, then get it. That's it. That's my message. So I hope that I answered all of these questions satisfactorily. Once again, my name is Dosdos. Shout out Hustler's Handbook for facilitating this. If anyone wants to fucking have a chat, man, about any of these answers that I gave, then please like reach out. It'd be cool. If not, I hope everybody's well, and peace.